It took many years for the Suns to get to the point they're at today, and so much happened to where when they rose up, they also fell down.
The Suns be putting pickles on you. Winners work, baby.
Throws it up for Ayton. Shot blocked by Antetokounmpo. What a block from Giannis. Everybody acting tough, but they up. Everybody acting tough.
I hope you enjoyed the video. This was fun to make. Before we get to the fun part, we need to go through the first finals appearance that the Suns were in. It was a tie game and the Celtics took the lead.
It began. 3 seconds. Hondo off the glass. He's got it with a second.
The players, the fans, they were all going crazy. They thought the game was going to be over.
The ball went in with 2 seconds to go, and the clock has to stop on a made basket.
With 1 second left, the Suns tied the game.
They'll have to throw it up. Garher, turnaround, shot in the air. It's good.
Many people deemed this game to be the greatest game ever played, and there were 3 overtimes.
We've got a third overtime in a Boston Garden.
The first ever NBA Finals game to go to 3 overtimes, and obviously, we all know who won the game.
It's gonna be all over.
And unfortunately for the Suns, the Celtics went on to win Game 6 and the championship thereafter. Now, we all know about the Jordan-Barkley battle in 1993 Finals, where Barkley and the Suns could not outlast the Chicago Bulls, and Jordan won his 3rd straight title. Charles Barkley was an MVP in 1993, but the Finals still haunts him to this day.
Have you and MJ ever talked about it?
I never want to talk about that series ever again.
So what's happened since the Barkley days? So soon after, there was Steve Nash.
The 15th overall pick in the greatest draft class in NBA history.
Hey now, don't cut me off like that, okay? Don't ever do that again. It's my videos, not yours, Pamani.
Coming into 2004, D'Antoni's career record was 35-76.
So you had a team with Amari Stoudemire, Shawn Marion, Steve Nash leading it all, and D'Antoni obviously being the coach to rev up Nash.
Nash won the MVP in 2005 and repeated the following season, the shortest player ever to win the award in back-to-back years.
You had a great year, great statistics, but your teammates had a great year because of you.
He was a team player, but also a uber effective scorer. Now, Tim Duncan and the Spurs, I mean, Steve Nash had his problems against this team. Obviously, the time where he got bumped by Robert Horry. And this was back in 2006 when the Spurs were the better team. But you also had in 2010, the time Steve Nash and his Suns beat the Spurs this.
Nash caught an inadvertent elbow from Tim Duncan. The gash over his eye required 6 stitches.
He came back and played in what was one of the most memorable games of his career. But Nash, he was never able to achieve what the Spurs had.
Tim Duncan collected 2 more championships in 2005 and 2007.
I'd be remiss to not mention the hard-fought battles Nash and his Suns had with the Lakers back in the late 2000s. I mean, this game in particular was one of Kobe's most memorable games that he's played in his career. He manages right here to tie the game with a go-ahead basket.
George to Kobe Bryant. Bryant inside. It's good. It's good. Tie game.
And in the last 6 seconds of the overtime that preceded that, we all know how this one ended.
Shot here. Final seconds. Bryant for the win. Bang!
You also had the 2010 Western Conference Finals featuring Nash and his Suns against the Lakers, and this was a much better Lakers team than back in 2006. And still, Nash and his Suns had the upper hand according to many experts back in 2010. Well, not really.
The Lakers repeat back-to-back titles.
If not for Kobe and Tim Duncan, man, Steve Nash would probably have like 2 rings at least. I'm sorry, man. I know I'm petty, but as a big Kobe fan, man, I just had to throw a little salt the Suns' way, man.
Well, if this is Steve Nash's final game as a Sun, it's been quite a run.
And now in 2012, the season's about to end, and Steve Nash's time in the Suns uniform is about to end as well, as he's slated to get traded.
The crowd roars as Steve Nash re-enters the game with 3:57 left.
At this point, the Suns weren't really competing for anything substantial, and so the Suns had to go full rebuild here. But first, they had to ship off their aging star in Nash, and guess who would take him?
It's been great to play with him. I've really enjoyed it. I feel like we're developing a good chemistry on the court.
And so now, thankfully, Steve Nash is going to play alongside Kobe Bryant. This makes up for the time Chris Paul was slated to play with Kobe. David Stern could not stop this trade from happening, so Steve Nash now is in a prime position to contend for another chance.
Attacking kick. Nash for three. Got it!
Just in case you don't know, this Lakers team was an absolute joke. Kobe had to carry this team so bad he ended up hurting himself. And so now the Suns are a regular staple at the Shaq and the Fool headquarters.
Number one, baby. It's our boy, JaVale McGee.
So what did the rebuilding Suns do in their first draft since Nash left?
The Phoenix Suns select Alex Len.
I mean, what a way to begin your rebuild in the early 2010s, picking a traditional center in the lottery. Let's hope the Suns don't make that mistake in the future. Now, as I said, this team sucked.
So many options. So many options, but check out this option.
I was honestly surprised at how many clips I could find of this trash franchise.
Number one, Leandro Barbosa. The Brazilian blur does everything quickly, especially celebrating. That's all right, man. Celebration time, come on.
They would get multiple features in the same segment.
Whose man is this? Actually, whose primate is this? Oh, come on, man.
I mean, what did you expect from a franchise that thought Jimmer Fredette was a good idea to pick up? The only people that wanted him to play lived in Utah. And guys, when was the last time Utah was relevant? Now, let's get into the retirement ceremony of Steve Nash.
Just take a look up there. Here we go.
Okay, whoop-de-doo, he's getting honored. His name is on the banner, guys. Oh my god, like, what do you expect me to talk about at this point? Charles Barkley is making fun of this team because of how bad they are.
Just fired a coach who didn't deserve to get fired, Jeff Hornacek. Man, everybody want to blame coaches in this league, and sometimes it's just players and bad general managers who get to fire several coaches before they realize that the general manager is the problem.
Jeff Hornacek's days as a coach were numbered as soon as the Morris twins came in. Both of them on the same team. Yeah, that's going to be a cause for a disaster. And then you have Markieff here calling the Phoenix Suns clowns whilst praising a player in the Summer League. Funny thing about that story is the player that he praised is the same player he ends up squabbling here with, like, Archie Goodwin. Are you serious right now? This is so pathetic. This play right here from Markieff, I mean, this is just Bush League.
Dragic, the race is on.
wow.
Oh, my. Yeah. Markieff Morris with an ugly flagrant foul on Goran.
So I guess this play must have been what got the Miami Heat interested in picking up Markieff years later. Plus, Jeff Hornacek dodged a bullet working for the Suns.
That's my sleeper in the three-point.
Yeah, Devin Booker.
Tell you what, boy. Kevin Johnson rolling on his grave watching these Suns play.
Rockets woke up. There's Trevor Ariza.
And then Sabalos is rolling over in his grave.
Josh Smith. Dan Marley's rolling
over in his grave. Frank Johnson's rolling over in his grave watching these bombs in Phoenix. Yeah.
When Charles Barkley is going after your franchise like this, I mean, it says a lot. It really does.
There's Corey Brewer, by the way.
These guys, man, I feel so bad. They just threw Jeff Hornacek under the bus, ran over him. Hang in there, Jeff. You'll get another chance with a real NBA team.
Oh, my goodness.
Apparently not so, as he decided to dodge a bullet to get hit by another one. Pathetic.
And look at Trevor Ariza.
Look at them empty seats, man. The best fans in the world get to watch this trash.
77-66.
Now the guys are trash. Come on, man.
They got a bunch of injuries. Their top three scorers all out.
They were no good when they had them.
Man, I'm trying.
When Charles Barkley would have these rants on the Suns, honestly, it was a delight to watch.
Hey, Chuck, how's the popcorn in the arena?
Where's the
popcorn?
Every time I would think to myself, there's no way he has another joke coming.
How's the hot dogs, Chuck? How's the hot dogs? Yeah, the hot dog, they got that little hard bun.
What about the pretzels, Chuck?
Oh, those pretzels are hard as a rock. You can break the denture.
And what about the nachos?
Oh, my God, the cheese is cold.
What about the soda? Is it flat?
Oh, the soda's flat.
Oh, man, it's terrible out there.
Yeah, it's awful.
I guess you won't get invited to a game.
Oh, they keep inviting me to games, too, Ken. I'm like, what the hell?
You won't have to worry about that anymore.
And I love the fact that this kept going and going.
Say about that nacho
over
cheese.
the Phoenix Suns.
Old cheese, Shaq. And the chips are stale.
Oh, man. Good one, man. What about the seats and the cushions on the seat when you sit down in the seats?
Oh, man, those chicken, they're dirty seats.
Are we really going to continue in this vein?
It ain't that bad in Phoenix, is it?
Really
that bad.
Oddly enough, even Ernie here was contributing to the fun.
How about the parking over there, Chuck?
Man, it's plenty of parking. You can buy one of them seats up the top and move right down by center court.
Is it still sunny outside of
Oh, man, it's been cold. El Nino, it's been raining. That's how bad. It's been cold in Phoenix.
And I know for damn sure you guys remember this line here.
No, you know, some place they give you good nachos, they put jalapenos. The Suns be putting pickles on it.
Oh, come on, Suns.
Yo, the things Chuck used to say back then, man.
What about the cheerleaders?
Oh, they ugly now. He used to be good looking. Now the cheerleaders.
Kenny Smith should be the all-time assist leader after that, man. Oh my goodness. Now, speaking of point guards, there are 3 of them in the Phoenix Suns. Dragic, Thomas, Bledsoe. You had this trio taking pictures with guys like Kendall Marshall. Yikes. Ay. This reminds me of what the Blazers tried to do recently with Powell. Thankfully, Goran Dragic got traded to the Heat. Isaiah Thomas got traded to the Celtics. For the first time, the Suns had a pick right in the draft.
He really is a young Klay Thompson because he's strong, he can guard.
But it still would not be enough.
And now,
Oh, boy.
Brooklyn and Phoenix.
Yeah, this was going to be a very, very hard game to watch, especially if you're a Suns fan.
Oh, that's right.
When you had Kenny Smith singing that tune and Charles Barkley ranting on you, I mean, that's how you know you're in the mud right there.
And I can ask you in all
They got ugly
seriousness.
cheerleaders now.
Now that
They got ugly cheerleaders. Oh, got some thick ones, too. Oh,
Now that the
it's
Brooklyn
awful,
Nets,
man.
I do not condone whatever Chuck's about to say.
Now-
Cheerleaders, them days so big, they don't... Okay. All right, let's sit down. There's a draft, 2016. The Suns are about to get a good one here. I can feel it.
The Phoenix Suns select Dragan Bender.
What the heck is with that name? Is he an avatar or something? Now, the 2017 draft. Ugh.
The Phoenix Suns select Josh Jackson.
I swear to you, this is not fake. They actually picked this guy, bro. Earl Watson, he was the coach for a while. He helped Devin Booker out, but he got fired.
And they fired head coach Earl Watson.
After 3 games into the regular season, this is pathetic, man. Honestly, just very atrocious to watch.
You know, they also fired a couple of their development coaches.
Like I said, this guy helped Booker and put him in the starting lineup where everybody would say he's crazy.
They had just paid Eric Bledsoe and Brandon Knight $140 million combined to start in the backcourt. So by me starting Devin Booker was like, whoa, what are you doing?
But we all know how rebuilding teams treat their coaches. I mean, this is no surprise, no news at all.
So I was like, yo, we're going to switch it. We're going to start him, and that's going to be the role. And people thought I was crazy.
And looking back, I mean, a lot of people were proved wrong. For Devin Booker, I mean, he's a star player now, an all-star. Some, not me, would say he's a superstar. I'm not going to put him that category, okay? The 2018 draft featured the Suns getting the first pick in the lottery. Oh my goodness. Who were they going to pick now? Who was going to be their savior? The one to turn around the franchise?
They hired Igor Kokoskov, who is Luka Doncic's Slovenian national coach.
Oh, that's a no-brainer. The Suns are trying to get at Doncic. I mean, this is pretty clear to us. A EuroLeague player that's 19 years old dominating, playing against older men?
second year as a EuroLeague, 19 years of age.
I kid you not. Everything was lining up for them until they ended up picking a traditional center.
The Phoenix Suns select DeAndre Ayton.
I mean, how could they recover from this?
Philadelphia 76ers select Mikael Bridges.
Now, the reason why I wanted to highlight this one, I mean, Mikael Bridges has an interesting story.
His mother, Tanisha Rivers, is Vice President of Human Resources for the 76ers.
And she was excited to see her son play for them.
I'm so excited he's coming home to be part of our Sixers family. It's amazing. Go Sixers! A few moments later.
I got some Suns news for you guys. According to Woj, the Suns are acquiring Mikael Bridges, so not going to be the hometown kid in Philly for very long.
Turns out that was going to be the last thing this GM would do before getting abruptly fired.
The Suns have fired their general manager, Ryan McDonough, just a little over a week before the start of the season.
I mean, yes, they did fire him a couple months later, but still, that's just insane. Into the preseason? What?
The Suns, by the way, are splitting up McDonough's duties to Vice President of Basketball Operations James Jones, as you mentioned, Kevin, and Assistant General Manager Trevor Buckstein.
And this is where we get into the stupidity that is the Suns owner. I mean, this is clearly him meddling.
He is an owner who has a reputation from pretty much everyone who has ever worked at the highest level for him for being difficult.
Impulsive, for sure.
And somewhat of a meddler as owners go.
But to play devil's advocate, I mean, this GM was not doing a particularly good job. I mean, just look at the picks he had and look at who he used them on. I mean, DeAndre Ayton and Devin Booker are the only good picks. The only ones that are really left. The TJ Warren is, who knows what he's going to do in Brooklyn.
What were your expectations up until the day the Suns let you go?
It was abrupt for me too, Rachel. 3 games into the preseason.
But man, Robert Sarver did this man so dirty.
You were in the room when you got fired, so I can ask someone who was in the room, what did they tell you? What was the reason they gave you?
Well, I probably don't want to go into specifics of the call, Rachel. It was, as I mentioned, after our 3rd preseason game.
It was over the phone?
Yeah.
That's tough. That's tough, man. But in a way, you deserved it, bro. Just look at how bad of a job you did. And so now the 2018-2019 season was about to begin.
What you did today, I noticed one of the assistants was talking to you, and you were like, and then you went, okay, all right, I got that.
Yeah, I knew exactly what he was about to say.
In the game against the Portland Trailblazers, you see Igor here talking to Mikal Bridges, wanting his attention, and Mikal not wanting to deal with him. Yeah, it seemed like there was some problems there.
When we got back on the plane, we was up in the plane, went back, saw him, apologized, and...
But that little storyline would quickly be overshadowed by this one.
Sarver is looking for a deal. He has asked the city of Phoenix for $150 of the $230 million needed to help him renovate the Suns arena.
And you got a resident here, Greta Rogers, calling out the owner.
We are not in the business of paying taxes to support private enterprise, and especially not an entertainment enterprise. They can support themselves or fail on their own lack of diligence.
Very well said, Greta. Now, I will say, this line that she's about to deliver right here is just straight savage.
He's so tight, he squeaks when he walks. And you have been negotiating with this kind of person? Shame on each and all of you.
So what in the world actually happened? Well,
the city council was supposed to vote on that yesterday, but when it looked like that resolution was going to fail, they just delayed the vote.
And boy, oh boy, you would not be surprised to know what Sarver did after that.
Sarver is calling city council members and threatening to move the team to Seattle or Las Vegas if the public doesn't pay for the bulk of his arena renovations.
And now he's gonna pretend like, oh, I never meant to do that. Stupid.
Hello, Suns fans. I hope you take a minute to listen to an important message that I want to share with you. First and foremost, the Phoenix Suns are not leaving Phoenix. I am 100% committed and have been for the last 4 years.
You even have his minion, the Suns CEO, coming in with a PR statement. I mean, this is just pathetic. And then Sarver here, he's trying to save face because obviously everyone in Phoenix hates him. I mean, just look at how bad this team's been under his tenure. I mean, this is just disgusting. And he still owns them.
I would say this. The question isn't are Seattle and Las Vegas realistic options for the Suns. The question is, when's Robert Sarver going to bring an NBA team to Phoenix?
Damn.
Oh, wow. I thought I was the... Wait, hold on.
But then again, you could say Sarver, I mean, he's not the only bad owner in the NBA. There's a lot of stupid owners. We've seen some get banned outright. And Devin Booker, it seems like he wants to stay in Phoenix. He wants to build a great franchise around himself and others. Kelly Oubre recently got traded to the Suns, and boy, wait till you hear his story and how he landed to Phoenix. I mean, this is crazy.
Getting ready to get in the shower and everything, and I go in the shower and everybody's kind of just looking at me, and with this look, and I feel the energy, and I'm like, what's going on? Why y'all looking at me like that? And guys told me, you got traded to Memphis and all that. So
initially he gets traded to Memphis. But things got way weirder and way worse.
And then, you know, I'm on the bus, on the plane with the team, and everybody's just like, man, that was messed up. And I'm like, okay, cool. Next morning, I get a call from, you know, Tommy and Ernie that I've been traded to Phoenix. And honestly, you know, I was super numb at that time.
Man, this sucks. Now, at least for Kelly, this has been a rebuilding team for quite a while, and he's probably going to have tons of opportunities to play in his lineup. Ayton, I mean, he's just being more and more efficient as the rookie year goes, and James Jones gets promoted as full-time GM.
What is it really like working for Robert Sarver?
It's been great for me. You know, Robert challenges us. He challenges me every day to come in there and be creative and find solutions.
And when I say effective, I really do mean that. I mean, just look at who he's ranking up above. And Monty Williams now, he's a new coach that's going to come into the 2019-2020 season. But before that, we need to talk about the practice facility that Phoenix is about to build.
2 buildings for a hotel and office space will be much taller.
It's going to be 5 stories and about 75 feet tall. Right now, this area is only zoned for 56 feet.
And the reason why this is controversial is because many people are upset, people living around there, that this might obstruct people's view of the Camelback Mountain, which is located very close to the facility. Now, Monty Williams, he's going to explain his philosophy behind what he calls the 0.5-second offense.
It's a free way to play basketball. You know, I've told our guys, as hard as they work on their offensive games, I know they're going to try to make the right plays. So you either shoot it, pass it, or drive it. Just don't hold the ball. And it has to happen in 0.5 seconds. And so we'll play.
His second year begins in a rocky start as he gets suspended for violating anti-drug policy. And I don't know about you, Chuck, but them cheerleaders be looking nice. And now the practice facility is about to begin being built. And Sarver is there to bask in his glory as he sets off the foundation of a new era in Phoenix. Hypothetically, of course, everything he touches turns to shit.
But the players were part of us planning this. So we got...
You expect me to believe this crap? That the players came in and helped him with the... Come on, man. This guy's clearly lying, and we'll get into that later in the storyline. Now, Rubio is also a new player coming into the system in Phoenix that's going to be revolutionary.
It's not about winning or losing right now. It's about building the culture, and I think we're on the right path.
And I'm telling you, the Suns, it seems like they went international with this lineup because they've got players from all around the world. They got Dario Saric coming in, and this guy right here, Aaron Baines, is also in this team. And you know what? I have to say, this is going to be an interesting looking team, and my goodness. Damn, them cheerleaders looking nice today. I'm telling you, Chuck, I don't know what you see in these girls. Them hips definitely do not lie. And I'm telling you, these guys probably looked at them cheerleaders before the games because these guys have been playing like a man on a mission.
Not happy is his team unraveling. Piece of it turns into a Devin Booker layup.
I'm telling you, if you're a Suns fan at this point, I remember people talking about how they blew out the Warriors. That was the same game Curry broke his hand. And Chuck, man, it seems like he's having faith now.
But to me, that's a perfect example of what's wrong with your Sacramento Kings. They went for guys who got...
I don't need you.
No, I'm just telling you something.
We're 3 games out. We're 3 games out.
You always been 3 games out.
Don't matter.
But there's a perfect example.
Don't talk about my king. Talk about your sons. I don't need you talking about my.
How about talking about Caleb Swanigan? How about talking about the Blazers?
I don't want your advice. Thank you.
Okay, so I bet you that.
Yeah. Why your record worse than ours?
We just growing. Yeah. We're growing. One of our best players was on vacation for a bit.
Y'all suck. We 3 games out and y'all ain't never getting in. Y'all suck.
And then you got Aaron Baines coming out of nowhere, just scoring 37 points with 9 3-pointers made. I had no idea Aaron Baines could do that. As a matter of fact, why didn't he ever do that with us? Now, look, Larry Fitzgerald, he is now going to be part owner of the Suns, and this is going to be great. Yeah, things are just not good right now. Okay, we have to stay home. And the NBA players, thankfully, were able to get out of the house and go to Orlando in a bubble to try to play for a championship, and 22 teams were invited, including the Suns. They had a chance to make the playoffs, playing 8 games, okay? 8 games, so that potentially the Suns could, grab a ticket to make the playoffs. There would be this play-in format that would happen if the Suns were within a couple of games away from the 8th seed, or who knows, man? The Suns might actually make the playoffs. And this was a great opportunity for them to really show everybody else how good they've been.
Right, look, he's measuring them.
The Suns, I mean, they were ready to play. They came in, beat the Celtics, the number 3 seed in the East, and the Suns would go on and rout other teams during this run. I mean, they were playing for something, clearly, and this shot right here was amazing.
Booker, this is for the win. Got it! Wow!
What do you know? They are undefeated thus far, 6-0, the only undefeated team in the bubble. Now, the situation for the Suns, playoff chances are complicated. They need to win both games, and the Grizzlies need to lose both games to make the playoffs. But Draymond doesn't care. He just doesn't want Booker to be a Sun.
Going 4-0 so far.
It's great to see Book playing well and Phoenix playing well, but get my man out of Phoenix. It's not good for him. It's not good for his career. Sorry, Chuck. But wow, they got to get Book out of Phoenix.
Although their playoff chances are slim, it doesn't mean Booker has to leave Phoenix. I mean, they're doing pretty well. And it's funny that Shaq's team got eliminated before Chuck's.
It has been cool for me.
This man right here, Monty Williams, is really one of the main reasons why this team was able to play so well. He's just such a great guy. Class act, as always.
I gotta tell him about the NBA team. What do you want me to say, bitch? Go all out.
I did not think I would talk about this one, but here we are, man. Somehow, this story was a thing.
And I was getting fucked in a hotel room. They all pulled up, and I sucked their
The whole team.
7.
7 basketball players in a row?
She later went on to say on Instagram that it was the Suns that she was piping down, and oh boy, Devin Booker apparently was the first one. This is getting crazy, man. What is going on here? Sorry, guys. Okay, let's get back to the playoffs. The Thunder and the Rockets, they're not going to play Game 7 due to Chris Paul's heroics.
In the fourth quarter, he outscored Harden and Westbrook by himself. He did it by going 3 for 3 from deep and again 0 turnovers.
But Chris Paul's hopes of making it past the first round against his former team would not pass.
We could have won the game, but that situation, league no.
In the pivotal Game 7, in the closing seconds, this defense from Harden is just insane.
Houston got its hands on it. Dort for 3, blocked by Harden. Dort got it back, tried to throw it off Harden, and missed him.
I never thought Harden could do that ever.
This Alexander is going to have to burn another timeout. Billy Donovan all the way out at half court to make it happen.
Now Chris Paul here is having a little discussion with Scott Foster. He wants to know what's going on here because he wants to replay clearly.
They show the replay sometimes so that obviously it's an advantage if you get to see the replay and then you challenge.
But something weird happened as he was trying to get that replay.
Drop down and tie my shoe up to hopefully see if we see the replay. Scott Foster walked over to me and told me, Chris, you ain't got to do that. I got him sweeping up the floor.
Now, I'm not saying Chris Paul got cheated. The Rockets definitely won this game fair and square, but Chris Paul sure felt like he was.
Okay, cool. So I start tying my shoe back up, and he still called the leg game. That don't make no sense. Yeah. They gonna find me. I said his name. Yeah, we already know the history. It's all bad.
So now the bubble is over, and a lot of us are wondering how much better can Booker get?
Rachel, I think that he can be the best shooting guard in the NBA and on the MVP ballot within the next 3 years.
And now this is the part of the storyline where we connect two worlds together. Chris Paul and Devin Booker, the Suns, Chris Paul's OKC Thunder, a trade happening?
So the rumor of Chris Paul's trade could be the biggest one of the offseason.
Now, Sam Presti, we all expected him to do this.
Be sure to leave a like on the video.
You heard him. Like the damn video. What's wrong with you, man? And yes, the trade did happen. This is where we're at in 2020, late 2020. Chris Paul, a Sun.
He's going to be an upgrade to any squad that he shows up on. Make no mistake about it.
Now, I did talk about this in a previous video. Sam Presti going after picks because he loves them. Obviously, first take, they had something to say about who's the best.
Do you think Western teams should be concerned, the top teams in the West, about these new look Suns?
No, not the top teams. I don't feel that way at all. I really am happy for Devin Booker more so than anybody else.
Now, I want you to pay attention to the teams Stephen A. mentioned here because it's going to be very relevant in the following storylines.
But when you talk about the big-time teams in the Western Conference, primarily we're talking about the Lakers, the Denver Nuggets, of course, the Clippers. I don't see the Phoenix Suns being able to mess with that, regardless of Booker's fall.
Do you guys want to play a game of what if? Well, you're forced to if you're watching this video. What if Jason Tatum was selected by the Suns and not the Celtics? And what if the Suns ended up getting the first pick next year, and then you have Devin Booker, CP3, Ayton, and Tatum?
I need you to pack a bag because you're flying to Boston. I'm like, why I'm going to Boston? He like, it's not out yet, but they're going to trade the first pick, and they're going to give it to third, and they want to see you work out again. I'm like, no, I don't want to go to Boston because I want to go to Phoenix.
So during the draft workouts, before the draft, Jason Tatum was trying to be a Sun.
Boston, they just went to the Eastern Conference Finals. I'm not going to play. I'm like, no, I don't want to go to Boston. 15 minutes later, Coach K calls me. I'm like, what's up, Coach? How you doing? He's like, hey, I just spoke to Boston, and I think Brad is a great young coach, and I think would be a great fit for you.
Hear that, Suns fans? You could have had Tatum, Booker, CP3, and Ayton. Now, maybe not, though. They could have been a better team with Tatum in 2017 and not had the first pick. But regardless, the new look Suns are now ready to play in their new look renovated arena.
Paul, 2 consecutive daggers. This one, a little serendipity.
And this would be the first year we would actually see a Suns team be good right off the bat. I mean, this team, obviously, you would need some time to gel with guys coming in. Chris Paul being a newer player, he's an older player, but things just seem to be working smoothly. The Suns, they were clicking on all cylinders.
If you ask me what teams I thought could make it to the finals, I would say Lakers, Clippers, Utah, then Denver.
But they were not on everybody's radar just yet. The Suns, they still needed to win more games and to prove themselves.
But I got to throw the Phoenix Suns in there. They've been underrated. Of course, Utah has the best record, but watch out for the Phoenix Suns.
One interesting thing to note here is that in Paul Pierce's hypothetical hierarchy, if this was to be the standings in the Western Conference, you'd see the Lakers and Suns battle it out in the playoffs. And it's funny because during these times, you would see them battle it out during the regular season. And there was a bit of drama happening here and there. Devin Booker getting 2 techs in one go. I mean, this was crazy, where he would end up getting ejected subsequently. I mean, this was weird, a weird play.
Back to the ref, second. Oh, no, get out of here.
A little tight shirt you got on.
And Devin Booker is ejected.
Did he get 2 techs on that play?
Yes. Arguing and then throwing the ball back to the ref. So the same ref gave him both techs? Seems so. Personal.
Now, the Phoenix Suns, they still won the game despite Booker being ejected. But it didn't matter much for the Suns because they were looking up, up, and up.
You guys have won 25 of the last 31 games.
And you could see here, man, just how good of a team they've been in this stretch of games. Obviously very efficient, but also very much led by a Chris Paul that's been so pivotal in these late game situations, and also them trying to win a championship at some point. I mean, Chris Paul, he guides these guys like he would any other player that he would play with.
I remember we were talking at the beginning of the season, and we were talking about the playoffs, and Chris yelled out in the locker room, he was like, 16 teams make the playoffs. That ain't what we're going for. And
the day has come where the Suns practice facility, once a fiction of imagination, is now a real thing. That new plays, the new weights, the new barbells, dumbbells, whatever it may be, just everything the Suns need in order to get better, in order to shape up and condition themselves right. Yeah, this was a Suns team that was now second in the Western Conference, 1 game back of the #1 seed Utah Jazz that had the best record in the NBA. I mean, the Suns team was looking very good.
Monty Williams, the Phoenix Suns head coach, has been voted as the National Basketball Coaches Association's NBA Coach of the Year.
So now Monty Williams is deemed the best coach voted by the coaches. So that means the media probably going to do the same. Now, the Lakers and the Suns are now facing each other in the first round.
Chris Paul, just not right.
No, he's not right. Yeah, that's a tough. And it showed down the stretch more than anything else.
And that's the thing. Chris Paul's injuries in Game 1, I mean, it just did not help this team, the following 2 games late down the stretch.
92 with 2:55 to go. This is Chris Paul time. And, you know, this is when the Lakers and LeBron James said, no, it's my time.
And just like last year in OKC, Chris Paul was the premier player in the clutch. And missing that, I mean, it would obviously result in a Lakers win. And frustrations began to set in for Devin Booker and the Suns.
Get a 7 seed. They don't play like one. They don't feel like one. As Schroeder is fouled, maybe a little excessive roll right there. And Scott Foster telling both teams to go to their benches.
And those are the sort of things that you don't do in an NBA game. I mean, Devin Booker, he should know better. Obviously, the referees will take a hard look at this, but we all knew at some point they were going to pull this off.
Scott Foster.
Oh, penalty 2.
And what do you know? It's Scott Foster initiating the ejection in the game that Chris Paul had actually played in. And so that means Chris Paul losing yet another pivotal game under Scott Foster's tenure as the referee. Yes, Chris Paul was not happy about it.
I mean, if I was a betting man, 11 games in a row. 11 games in a row. And we'll see what happens. 11
My question is, final. Thank you for the time, Chris.
11 in a row. It's tough.
You could see here that a lot of the games that Chris Paul lost with Scott Foster as the referee, I mean, they were perfectly winnable. And also, Scott Foster has a great reputation.
I do want to note Scott Foster consistently grades out as one of the most consistent and accurate officials in the league. Just, I mean, those are what the numbers that the NBA says.
And RJ's response to all this, I mean, it's pretty blunt, I gotta say.
No one cares, Chris, because at the end of the day, your hand, your hamstring, and now your shoulder have been more responsible for some of the struggles that you have been a part of over the course of the postseason than Scott Foster.
Man, that's tough. Now, the Lakers, they're in a 2-1 series lead right now, and Anthony Davis, he responds to Booker and his dirty play pushing Schroeder down.
Can't happen. Can't do that. I mean, they've been chirping it's playoff basketball, but you don't push a guy out the air like that, 2 hands. It's a dirty play. Dennis could have really got hurt right there.
With Chris Paul looking more healthy, hopefully there'll be no more injuries now.
But now, here's the cause for concern on the Lakers side, Anthony Davis.
Oh, boy, this is not looking like a good one. He might be out for some time.
Left groin injury. Did not return to this game.
All we wanted to see was a competitive series, but unfortunately on both sides it's been hampered by injuries. Now the Suns, they were the better team.
And the Phoenix Suns will give it to Booker with a drive and a season high of 47.
And like I said, there was some drama here and there, and in this game there was no exception. I mean, Booker, you can see him talking trash to some of the Laker opponents. Jay Crowder also doing the same, and you could see here Jay Crowder knowing that he was ejected.
And it looks like a technical foul call on Booker.
Morrison, I think it's...
I get it, man. The Phoenix Suns beating a team that had just won a championship the year prior.
Booker is gone, and Crowder is gone.
And Crowder was on the bench, so a little trash talking going on.
And I'm telling you, man, was it worth it? I guess. I mean, you got under their skin, I guess. And also, the Suns now are able to play another round. And Tom Thibodeau won Coach of the Year. Are you kidding me right now? It should have gone to Monty Williams. The coaches knew, but the media, the New York media, they want you to think the Knicks are a good team. Suck my left nut. Now CP3, he was a king in the fourth quarter, of course, against the Denver Nuggets in the opening game of the second round. The Suns team was looking very good. I'm telling you, this team can win it all. It was actually sensational to watch.
It was something special to behold. It really, really was. To just see him go on a little spurt like that, to be pretty much the smallest dude on the court other than Campazzo, and to do what he was doing, it was special.
Chris Paul, man, he plays like a savant because he is a savant.
He'll dance. With a great feed inside to Craig.
I get it, man. It's been 10 years since you made the playoffs. These kids are going wild, bro. I don't think you guys understand how big of a deal this playoff run was for the Suns franchise. I mean, this revitalized a lot of the fanfare that the Suns used to have back in the heydays of Charles Barkley. This team was good. Man, this Suns team was sweeping guys now. The Denver Nuggets, the frustration setting in for Jokic. And of course he's going to get ejected for this. And a lot of people are going to say, Jokic, man, he's just cannot beat a team that's good. He sucks. He should have never won the MVP. Shut up. You don't know what you're talking about. But the Suns, they're the better team.
Oh, that's my boy. Oh, look at my boy. Look at my boy. You get out your damn car, boy.
I'm telling you, these fans are like the OKC fans in 2012 that were greeting KD and Westbrook at the airports. Devin Booker even tried to reach out to the Suns and 4 guy, and that guy responded to Devin Booker.
Hey Book, not sure if you saw the viral video from last night, but I just want to say sorry. Hate to make us fans look like heathens. Just acting on self-defense. Sentiment hasn't changed. Suns in 4.
He was now a folk legend, a hero in the Suns arena.
He's become a local hero with his own t-shirt and action figure.
Yo, how did that happen? Who made an action figure of this dude? What? Now, he did make a prediction on who would win the conference finals.
I think Clippers are a solid team, and I think they're going to take at least 2 from us, so I'm going to say Suns in 6.
What's his Instagram again? Suns in 4? Guys, should I reach out? Actually, give me your parlay ticket. Okay. All right, so the conference finals is now upon us, and the Suns, they're as focused as ever.
A lot of guys are locked in right now. We got, from top to bottom, coaching staff, players, all locked in on one goal. Everything's clicking right now. Even when it gets tough, we're still fighting it together, doing everything together. It's paying off for us right now, as you can see.
Monty Williams may not have won his award, but James Jones, sir, the Executive of the Year, he deserves it. Oh, not this guy again.
$44 million is that going to be worth the price, Robert? I'm curious how you would make a decision like that for keeping someone like Chris Paul.
That's not a hard decision.
Man, this guy is such a dickhead. He's right, but still a dickhead.
Chris Paul sat out Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals on Sunday due to COVID-19 health safety protocols. In his absence, Devin Booker came up huge. 40 points, 13 rebounds, 11 assists, triple-double to lead the Suns to victory.
This is one of those defining moments in Booker's career that people look back to a lot, but unfortunately, it makes me mad.
Devin Booker is the next Kobe Bryant.
Yep.
I'm saying it on national television. Devin Booker is the next Kobe Bryant.
I'm not going to address it. Now, Devin Booker, he was seen bleeding in Game 2. Patrick Beverley and him bumped into each other this time, though.
Beverley sometimes plays on the edge.
I don't know what gets into Beverley's head sometimes, but yeah, this definitely was not one of them. I think he just did this trying to defend Booker as hard as he could. Now, in this pivotal moment in Game 2, something crazy would happen.
And I really think this is a great opportunity to throw it directly in to Ayton. You misdirection Booker, and you throw it directly into Ayton.
Crowder looking, throws it alley-oop. Oh! Ayton puts it down!
It's a crazy play, but an even crazier call from Jeff Van Gundy, man. Those faces say it all, man. Looked like these two were called into the principal's office, man. DeAndre Ayton, he was all smiles, of course. And Chris Paul, man, he kept on making pivotal plays right here as Paul George misses a free throw. And Chris Paul right here gets the rebound and basically clinched the game to take a 3-1 lead against the Clippers. I mean, this was looking inevitable now.
Teams to hold a 3-1 advantage have won 52 of 56 opportunities in a conference championship round.
Now, Chris Paul, he himself does not want to be reminded of this fact.
You have done something no other team has done, which is go up on 3-1 on the Clippers in a playoff series.
I don't want to talk about 3-1.
This
got a lot of good
postseason.
experiences with that.
Now, he did say something that caught my attention, everyone else's.
That man over there, DeAndre Ayton, he's going to get him a bag this summer. He's going to get him a bag, and he's showing everybody right now during the playoffs why.
In Game 5, Paul George had the playoff game of his career, scoring a career-high 41 points in playoff. And boy, oh boy, man. Paul George, I never thought he'd be better than what he was in Indiana.
And after the Suns regain the lead, Paul erupts here on the road. 31 points.
And then the following game, Chris Paul goes for 41 points to clinch and make it to the finals.
We have an issue on the court right now between both teams, but Chris Paul
Oh, what? I mean, that's as unsportsmanlike as it gets. Patrick Beverley losing control.
Dirty players being dirty. Nothing new to see here. Now, Beverley, man, it seemed like he was a bit regretful of what he did, but at the same time, emotions took over because his team was bound to lose this series. And a huge Chris Paul supporter, Lil Wayne, was also there.
Believing in them, supporting them, being around them. He wants to be part of this celebration.
This was a great moment for CP3. I mean, why in the world did he want to go to Phoenix out of all teams?
It was a lot of things. Willie Green, my brother, James Jones, we worked at the Union together. Coach Monty, I played for him already. But the big reason was the light-skinned guy right here, number 1, Devin Booker. Devin Booker, he is a dog. Go and get it, Book.
And honestly, man, it's really cool to see after 15 years, Chris Paul's first finals appearance, the oldest players to have over 35 points in consecutive closing series. And now Chris Paul gets to play for a chance at his first ever NBA title. Oh, this is going to be good.
Not since Michael Jordan did it in 1998 had we seen a guard have a conference finals game with at least 40 points and no turnovers.
And there it is. He got Beverley apologizing for the push, the shove. Even though he doesn't like Chris Paul, he knows where to not step out of line. Even though, look, it's too late. There's no point apologizing. You still fucked up. And the Suns now get to play for a championship.
Our journey's to bring that Larry O'Brien back to Phoenix. That's our journey.
Oh my goodness, man. This guy sucks. Now, before the finals were to begin, they had to celebrate a little. I mean, come on. Have a little fun.
This right here feels kind of good, right? Yeah. Imagine how that next one will feel. Huh?
Don't you guys see it, man? It's just like OKC fans, man. They are so overjoyed the first time in 10 years during the playoffs, and they make it to the finals. I mean, this is crazy, man. This has to be like a storybook ending. Do you guys remember that 0.5 second offense that Monty Williams was talking about? This is where it was at its best.
Paul pushes back to Booker. Up top, Crowder. Bridges fakes, now drives. Extra pass. Great ball movement, but terrific defense as well. Booker trying to draw the foul. Poked away by Middleton. Bridges inside. Ayton for the layup. And the foul. What a sequence!
Oh man, the Suns are now leading 2-0 in the final series. They're this close to winning it all. And worse yet, they're humiliating Giannis. The fans are.
Booker for three. Got it! Devin Booker with a 7-footer right on him.
I gotta say, if I'm an opposing team playing in that arena, man, I'd be intimidated too. You even got guys like Kendrick Perkins, you know, crowning them already, even though they haven't won anything yet.
This is why I say the Phoenix Suns are on the verge of being a dynasty.
As dramatic as that sounds, I mean, they're on a high rise right now. There's no telling how far this Suns team can go, man. 2 more games away from a championship. Come on.
Giannis back-to-back 40-plus games. 42 points in Game 2, obviously 41 last night.
Giannis, not fazed by all the humiliation. He's still playing on. And it's looking like he's starting to figure it out along with the rest of the Bucks.
Do you agree the Suns will be the next dynasty?
No. First of all, you have to beat the Bucks first.
I know I ragged on this guy in one of my previous videos, but he does make a great point here talking about the Suns' road to the finals.
You were lucky to get to the finals. Lucky. Like, the Lakers had to get hurt. Don't forget, they were up 2-1. The Clippers had to get hurt. Don't forget, Kawhi didn't play the whole series. They still got to a Game 6. The Nets had to get hurt. They were spanking the Bucks and would have destroyed this Suns team if healthy.
One thing I'm happy about is seeing Charles Barkley happy.
The reason I live in Phoenix, they have the best fan base in the NBA. Win or lose, they're going to love you. Now you're winning. It's just a raucous place.
The momentum's still on the Suns side. I mean, I don't think anyone was ready to see what was about to happen.
Now Booker with Tucker on him. Throws it up for Ayton. Shot blocked by Antetokounmpo.
Don't worry though, the Suns still had a chance to tie the game or even take the lead with Chris Paul.
Chris Paul falls down and lost the ball.
You've got numbers right now if you're the Bucks.
Holiday, Middleton, inside, he banks it home. Timeout, Phoenix. This building is shaking.
In other news, the Suns Arena.
The Suns Arena, where the Phoenix Suns and the Phoenix Mercury play, has a new name, and it's the Footprint Center.
I'm sorry, but I had to interject, man. I know things are getting tense, but this is the worst name for an arena. The Suns better pray a team never walks all over them.
Milwaukee is winning Game 6. Milwaukee is winning Game 6. If the Milwaukee Bucks win Game 5 Saturday night, their fans in Milwaukee will be celebrating an NBA championship.
This time the game would be at Phoenix, and so now in the Footprint Center, Chris Paul making it a 1-point game, but we all know how this story ends.
The drive, gets inside, leans in, knocked away and stolen by Holiday. Phoenix has to foul, and Antetokounmpo throws it down.
By far the best play of the finals, by far the best call I've ever heard from Mike Breen in the finals. This was an amazing shot too. Giannis, the most badass guy. Chris Paul, Devin Booker now in trouble. The media playing blame game. And the Suns now trailing 2-3 with Scott Foster set the referee Game 6. Ay, ay, ay.
This was before the game. An interesting long discussion. Scott Foster and Chris Paul. Foster, one of the top-rated and most respected officials for years in his 22nd finals game, but he is not Chris Paul's favorite official, perhaps his least favorite.
I'm going to get up for this one because I'm going to get rowdy, baby. Giannis, the king. Best player on the game. 50 points, 5 blocks. Come on. 17-19 from the line. Come on, man. This was in Milwaukee. MVP. You already know. I'm a big Giannis fan if you didn't already know. For Booker, the show must go on. He had to go play in Tokyo.
Right side to Mark.
Be back in the gym.
Well, I got to get on a flight in a couple hours, I think, out to Tokyo. So I'll be on the court soon. Yeah.
You got to turn around.
Yeah.
Devin Booker, Chris Middleton, and Drew Holiday are flying over together to Tokyo. We won't actually get here till tomorrow, Tokyo time.
Imagine that. That's just sad, man. Flying in the same plane as the guy that just locked you down to win a championship and the guy that you couldn't stop to win a championship. I mean, this is crazy. But at least he won the medal. It's all good, right? Now, the next season, it was set for it to be a redemption year for the whole Phoenix Suns.
The thing I'm looking forward to now is our approach to the everyday. You don't start the season and get to automatically end up in the finals again.
The same teams they beat to get to the finals have similar odds to them to win it all, so interesting.
It's another building process, and I'm excited about going through this experience with these guys because this is as far as I've ever been.
And these are the guys during the offseason that got their rookie max extensions, and this is from the 2018 draft class. Pay attention because there's one name that's missing.
2018 number 1 pick DeAndre Ayton is still without a contract extension. The Suns have until October 18th, or else Ayton will be a restricted free agent following this season.
That means if they don't get things sorted now, Ayton might get a contract offer from another team.
They've just paid Chris Paul, something around 75 to 100 million to try to get the most out of the last couple of years. The last thing that they need is drama and thinking that could be disrupted.
So now all eyes are on what Sarver and the Suns would do.
Those contract talks between DeAndre Ayton and the Suns are stalled. He wants a max contract, believes he deserves a max contract.
And it seemed like the Phoenix Suns, they didn't think Ayton proved himself to deserve or to be worthy of a max.
Phoenix and I think Robert Sarver, that organization is essentially telling them, we don't think you are worth a max contract.
And when you see his playoff production being substantially higher than his regular season production, I mean, that's a good sign of things being all well and good with him. And Kendrick Perkins, it seems like he was disturbed.
It's disturbing to me, okay? And here's why. The big man never gets the love that they supposed to. They always get underappreciated.
So imagine you're the first pick of the draft and you see a 10th pick of the same draft get an extension? What the hell?
Yeah. Good day, huh? Yeah, real good day, man. Real good. Wish couple my parlays hit yesterday, but it ain't happened.
Obviously, Bridges is now in an awkward spot seeing that Ayton didn't get his.
That's with DeAndre right now. Do you share his disappointment, though, in terms of
him not being able to get a deal done yet? Yeah, we came here together, and we obviously want to always be here together. So, you know, we both want to be here.
And at first, I was shocked to see that they didn't give him an extension.
I'm told that the DeAndre Ayton extension talks have ended without a deal.
Talk about adding drama to an already intense season ahead.
So what are you hearing now about DeAndre Ayton's mindset?
He's very unhappy. Listen, he saw his peers who got max deals and looked at what he's done so far, and he's going to have some options after the season about how to proceed with his future, whether it's in Phoenix or somewhere else.
Well, that's far from now, so let's not think too much about that. Westbrook, the Lakers. Wow, interesting look. They're playing the Phoenix Suns, and Westbrook, man, he's being Westbrook.
Into the front court. Flips it up and in. Plus the foul.
There's that residue of last year's antics still left in Booker here.
Made field goals. Booker kept his left foot down twice. Gets it to go. Plus the foul.
In the meantime, the Lakers were going through their own sorts of problems. AD and Dwight not seeing eye to eye. And obviously the fans are now getting into it. Yeah, this was getting crazy. He had to get kicked out. Apparently this guy's a famous casino dealer. I don't know, man.
What is that guy? Are you kidding me?
During that game, Chris Paul also became the first player to ever reach the 20,000 point, 10,000 assist mark. Oh boy.
League announcing it's launched an investigation into the Phoenix Suns owner, Robert Sarver.
These are some rather controversial allegations being thrown at Sarver here. This guy, of course he's going to deny it.
The ESPN report is inaccurate and misleading. Sarver also said, I would entirely welcome an impartial NBA investigation.
It's exactly what we have now, an investigation. But first, we got to get into some of the quotes. Here is something that Watson says Sarver said about Draymond Green saying the N-word.
You know, why does Draymond Green get to run up the court and say N-word? Watson said, you can't say that. Sarver responded, why? Draymond Green says N-word.
Sarver even said he preferred hiring black coaches over white coaches, and his reasoning why is crazy.
These N-words need a N-word.
One time he was yelling at a woman so much that she ended up crying.
The woman broke down in tears. Sarver said, why do all you women around here cry so much?
Now, how does this get worse? Well, I'll tell you how. Another female former employee claims he said an even more disturbing thing.
Sarver would use language including, do I own you? Are you one of mine?
That is some insane quotes, man. If these are real, man, does that make him look so bad. And the CEO, he had to come out and say, oh, it's false, fake news, whatever. This guy that wrote the article, I don't know too much about him, but Stephen A. here makes a great point.
I would tell you that based off of what I read, it's hard to get rid of him because the accusations are incredibly damning. Mm-hmm. But he's denied most of them. And because he's denied most of them, people who try to compare it to Donald Sterling are missing the point that you had Donald Sterling on audio.
There's one thing Chuck said here that I have to disagree with.
Come out with
Can I
so
say
many
one thing too?
Sure.
This is to anybody watching this damn show. If somebody treats you bad at work, you got to say something that moment. You can't be saying, nah, I need my job. Nobody should work in a hostile environment.
And it's easy to say this when you can afford to lose your job. A lot of people really can't say the same. And the Suns, they're winning. You could see here, they're the best team in the NBA, according to some. And a lot of strides have been made to make this team better offensively, defensively. They're just exceeding expectations.
The conductor of the orchestra that is the Suns offense got them the win with these assists.
Now, Steph Curry, of course, shot very badly from the field, especially from the three-point line. Yikes.
Right now, you have to give the Phoenix Suns the mantle of being the best team in the NBA because they just took down the Warriors.
Now, of course, the Warriors, especially Steph Curry, were they going to play the same way again? And obviously, they had a game 3 days later, and we would see the Warriors play different.
And the right fit with the roster pieces. Uh-oh, look out! Curry!
It was clear that this Warriors team was avenging their loss.
The Suns' 18-game winning streak ends tonight
The Suns team began the season 1-3, then went on to win 18 straight, first loss since October 27th. Crazy, man. And Steph Curry shot 8 of 20 from the field, 6 of 11 from deep. Yeah, you're not gonna get that same Curry again that was shooting 4 of 21, because now they beat them on Christmas Day too. And then the Raptors, this was a funny moment.
Booker, by the way, Booker's complaining about the Raptor, the lone fan that's there. He's been sent away. Aaron Smith sent him away.
Who knew Booker was afraid of mascots? I didn't know this. Now, one funny thing about this whole event is that Canada, I mean, this was just a whole mess. And also the Suns, they didn't have to worry about that at home. So, of course, it was a different experience for Booker. I get it. But now they play the Mavs and they beat them in very easy fashion. Devin Booker and Chris Paul combining for 48 points. Oh, boy.
You know, we never hit the panic button. We never get flustered or out of whack. You know, we just stick to what we do, and, you know, we perform well down the stretch.
I'm telling you, the Suns' hype back then, it was increasing.
The Phoenix Suns are by far the most efficient, and they are the most complete team. Let me just reel down some stats. Here we go. First in clutch winning percentage. They're first in clutch field goals. They're second in defensive efficiency. They're second in field goal percentage. They're third in points per game. They're fifth in assists. What stat do you not want this team to be top 5 in? This Phoenix Suns team is by far the most complete team in the NBA when you look at top to bottom. Where do they have deficiencies? They don't.
Now, I'm glad RJ did add this slight caveat right here that's important.
Does that mean that they're going to win the championship? Does that mean that they're favored to win a championship? No. But they are by far the most complete team, and they've been playing that way all year long.
But we have to face the facts. The best in the NBA in terms of net rating belongs to the Suns during this win streak, a new win streak, a 10-game win streak since the Raptors incident, and you have Chris Paul averaging 10 assists a game.
Backcourt mate Devin Booker has also been on an absolute scoring tear. It has been so much fun to watch him play.
They've been the best backcourt in the league this year. CP3 and D Book. The Phoenix Suns have distinguished themselves in the NBA. Oh, they are the best team in the NBA.
They just never make any mistakes. Nobody ever takes bad shots on this team, ever. Only good shots. And they make good decisions all the time. They do not beat themselves. They maximize every possession.
And just as things were going so great, Chris Paul ends up, unfortunately, getting hurt.
He'll be sidelined for the next 6 to 8 weeks with an avulsion fracture in his right thumb, first reported by TNT and confirmed by ESPN.
And what many of us already knew at that point was that this was going to impact Booker's game.
With Chris Paul not on the court, defenses can focus on Devin Booker. This season, Booker's shots have been contested 97% of the time when Paul isn't playing.
Now, how are the Knicks winning by 2? I have no idea, but Alec Burks bricks a free throw, and this happens.
It's Payne. Johnson for the win.
One thing that became very obvious at the onset was that Chris Paul's absence did not affect the Suns too much. Devin Booker's playmaking actually leveled up. I mean, he would have stats like these every once in a while, and it would really surprise people when he had played against Denver in the return game for Chris Paul, and he went crazy.
Center, Nikola Jokic, Booker steps in, picks his pocket, racing to the rack.
Now, this was something that many people were very happy to see.
You have Chris Paul, because you know that they're good without him. They're a good team without him. But they go from good to the best team when you add Chris Paul.
This win against Denver also solidified them a big milestone.
They are now clinched the #1 seed in the Western Conference, the best record in the NBA. They will have home court advantage in any series that they play in the playoffs.
And guys, listen up to what Jalen just has to say to us.
If you're a retired player, I don't care if you work in the media, I don't care if you're a fan or currently in the league. I want to make sure I say this sentence and everybody know that it's legitimate. The Phoenix Suns are the best team in basketball. Let me repeat. The Phoenix Suns are the best team in basketball.
Not just that, but they appear to be the most hard-working team in the NBA too.
Yeah. Winners work, baby. Winners work, baby. That what you gotta do, man.
I can't lie to you. I myself made a video on the Suns and how Devin Booker needed more respect. The Suns as a team were being overlooked, and I predicted that they would do something akin to what the Spurs did in 2014, their redemption season where they won it all. And let's just say it started off in a rocky situation, okay? The New Orleans Pelicans, their first round, the first game, I mean, you could see it there. The Suns were ready to come back and make it to the finals again. And you could see here, man, a lot of buzz, just a lot of excitement. But Devin Booker here ends up hurting himself here, and it looked more serious than it originally was.
MRI results came back today, Malika. A mild right hamstring strain, and I'm told that Devin Booker is likely out in both games 3 and 4.
I mean, this is troublesome, as a lot of us, I mean, we see Devin Booker as the 1A in this team.
Oh, I'm worried, and I think all the Suns fans should be worried.
Now, we all know Perk, he loves his Twitter, and this tweet in particular, I mean, it would be a very interesting one.
Perk, you were tweeting as usual, so I want to pull up your tweet here, and I need you to explain this.
So here he says, I must say, I'm beyond impressed with Brandon Ingram tonight. I know his stat line was 37, 11, and 9, but it was the other things to me. The young man was poised, and most importantly, a leader. Real talk. And Kendrick Perkins, he went even further.
He's actually the best player in this series without Devin Booker being out, and that's why I got the Pelicans winning this.
Hey, Phoenix, in how many games?
I got this going 7. I really, you know what? I got it going 7.
And this is why I call him the flip-flop king, because last season, he was talking about the Phoenix Suns are going to be a dynasty. Now he's shook.
Big Perk, dare I say. You're looking like you very well may be right there.
And now it's a 2-2 series. And so a lot of people are jumping at Phoenix's neck.
118-103 was the score of yesterday's Game 4 from the Smoothie King Center. And just like that, we're looking at a best of 3 with the momentum pretty clearly towards New Orleans right now.
And what was also worrying here is that Booker, I mean, he's missed games in the past with hamstring injuries. And yeah, it's quite worrying.
I think the Phoenix Suns are in big-time trouble, man. Big-time trouble.
You know, the question is, bringing him back, does it help you or hurt you right now? Because the Suns might be on the ropes right now.
They are in the ropes.
And maybe a little.
Now, fortunately, they were able to get Booker back for Game 6, and obviously, the Suns were able to pull it off in clutch fashion.
11 for Booker, they double McCollum, pickpocketed, ripped away Bridges the other way.
Finishing off a team that's a 9th seed and 6, I mean, that's, you know, that does not sound very good, but the Phoenix Suns, you know, credit to them still. They did do it in clutch fashion.
Paul dancing, driving, shooting, scoring, Paul!
The game would be over, and you could see the emotion just pouring out right away. Chris Paul playing against his former team, Monty Williams coaching against his former team, and another former player that's now head coach of the Pelicans.
History tonight for Chris Paul, 14 of 14, 33 points.
Devin Booker, apparently, I mean, he's been having a field day against the Mavs this season.
DeAndre Ayton told me, he's like, man, a healthy book is a scary book. And I think he averaged like 40 against the Mavs. It wasn't quite that. He averaged 23 against the Mavs in the regular season.
Now, this series did not help in dispelling the Suns being overlooked. I mean, boy, oh boy.
But if respect is what he's looking for, and the Suns deservingly feel like he's not getting that.
And deservingly, finally, Monty Williams wins Head Coach of the Year, NBA Coach of the Year this time, for realsies.
For your coach, got some special people here at the league.
Very beautiful moment, man. This guy, as far as humans goes, one of the best I've seen. Very impressive person. And I would be remiss if I didn't say that I had fun watching this series against the Mavs that the Suns had. I really enjoyed watching Luka Doncic just dominate, play so well.
Luka boy is bad. He's joining like Larry Bird, Steve Nash, John Havlicek.
I mean, when Chuck says something like that, that just solidifies the status.
At the half.
You can wear these jerseys in the hood now.
60 to 58. Booker for 3.
You know a shot. Yeah. Bird, Dirk, Steve Nash, guys like that.
It got a bit intense when Luka and a fan, you know, they confronted each other because the fan said some things towards him. Yeah, very naughty. And the Phoenix Suns fans, I have to say, they've been spectacular.
14 of his 28 points coming in the fourth quarter. Chris Paul baked the cake in the fourth quarter, and Devin Booker put the icing on that thing.
Yes, he did. That's the true definition of a 1-2 punch. First Chris and Devin.
They both combined for 58 points, each of them making 11 field goals and shooting it at an efficient rate, and you could see them being very confident.
Chris, when you're playing a guy like Luka Doncic, and how important is it to make him work defensively as far as running him through a lot of actions, especially late in the game when he's logged heavy minutes like
that? We just try to play.
take what the defense gives us. Long series, just we got 2 games. We're just gonna keep playing.
And I'm telling you guys, man, it wasn't just me. Chuck as well, man. He just couldn't get enough of the Luka.
And you're looking at some guy and saying, man, this Luka Doncic.
I walked out here, I said, Ernie, that's a bad man right there.
But of course, the professional hater comes in.
I am about to launch about how dramatically you and Charles Barkley are overrating Luka Doncic. He is not a superstar by any stretch of the imagination.
If he's not a superstar, there aren't any in the NBA.
Okay, well then there aren't any left.
I cannot take too much of Skip's pettiness. Let's fast forward it. Let's just skip.
Luka is actually a triple threat of a liability because we start with his shooting. He is a sorry shooter, a poor shooter, certainly by superstar standards, from 3 and from the free throw line. It's my turn. I'm about to just nail it to the wall. Okay. And number 2, he is a turnover machine. Luka Doncic, I'm going to repeat this twice so everybody lets it sink into their brain. He led the NBA this year in turnovers per game. He had 7 turnovers last night. I'll get to those in just a moment. And finally,
not fast enough. 3 times speed now.
You missed the point and the boat. All you're talking about, they got to stop the Suns. Luka Doncic is a disaster of a defender. Yeah, we can't guard anybody. They attacked him all night long. We knew it all the way back to November 1st of 2019. That's a game we still talk about to this day on the show because it was your Lakers and LeBron at Luka. You remember that? On a Friday night, Danny Green Memorial Day. Remember this? And what did Kyle Kuzma say after the game? Whoever was guarding Luka, we passed him the ball because they were just hunting Luka. So they were hunting Luka all night long.
He went on for much longer, but I couldn't handle it, okay? Because let's talk about birthdays. It's somebody's birthday.
Ja Morant is a better athlete. Steph Curry is the greatest shooter of all time. But the best pure point guard in the NBA, the greatest floor general.
Okay, we get it. You're talking about CP3. Happy birthday to him.
Is a 37-year-old man who can barely touch the damn rim. That's right, the point guard himself. Still, CP3.
The following day, the Mavs won Game 3, so now it's a 2-1 series for the Suns. And Chris Paul's birthday seems like it didn't give him enough good juju because in Game 4, I mean, things were just disastrous.
Got it off in time on the miss whistle, and we might have a 4th foul against CP3.
4 fouls in 1 half. I mean, that's insane. Okay, Chris Paul, he ends up getting 5 fouls. No. He ends up fouling out.
An offensive foul. That's 5. Against CP3, picks up his 5th. Brunson working against Chris Paul, trying to draw that 6th foul here. Spins, elevates. Missed a couple of times.
Oh, wow.
And that's going to go against Chris Paul. That's the 6th on CP3.
And now the series is tied 2 apiece, and a lot of people are just scratching their heads, man.
He had more fouls than he did points. Now, these are things that we have never seen from Chris Paul.
Some of these stats are a bit staggering, man. I mean, Chris Paul in the 4th quarter, no, forget that. The whole game, Chris Paul was just off.
Chris Paul celebrated his 37th birthday on Friday. In the 2 games he's played since then, including that night, he has scored 17 points and committed 9 turnovers. He's had almost the same number of personal fouls as he's had assists.
Now, thankfully for the Suns, they just needed to win Game 5 to assure themselves of an 82% chance of winning the series. And the Suns, they capitalized on a great game from Devin Booker, and boy.
Into Johnson, knocked away. And Luka hurt his hand. Here comes Paul. It's Booker flying down that baseline.
They finally got their mojo back. It looked like the series was about to end in 6. Devin Booker facilitating. DeAndre Ayton coming in and doing the right things, moving at the right places. Devin Booker with the trash talking.
Get up, boy. Get up, boy.
Luka and Booker, I mean, they were just going back and forth, and Luka here had a Jordan moment. First take, talking about whether the Suns are at another level.
Big Perk, are the Suns on a different level than the Warriors?
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
And I mean, a lot of people, you know, they had their eyes on the Suns winning the whole thing.
Are they your favorite to win the title?
They are. They are my favorite.
Now, of course, Amari Stoudemire is going to say so, but Pat Bev, oh.
I think they got all the pieces they need to win a championship.
You said to win a what? I just feel like it's just 2 champions out there who we seen done it. Milwaukee Bucks and the Golden State Warriors. So
yeah, but
at the heart of a champion. I mean, we haven't seen it.
Now, Kendrick Perkins, I'm glad he pushed back on this because it made for a funny moment.
Right, you need wing defenders, guard defenders. The
The Phoenix Suns are stacked with that, from Mikal Bridges to Jay Crowder to...
That's it. Go stop.
Huh?
That's it. Stop.
Chris Paul. Yeah, Chris Paul. Chris Paul is
Y'all
a
slow
defender.
down now.
Devin Booker take pride in defending. Okay.
Now, Kendrick Perkins, I was with you until you said this one, bro.
And then you have Landry Shamet coming in off the bench. Torrey Craig. We got, I mean, they're not you, bro, but they're at least stacked at the wing.
There has to be something called Game 6 Luka. I mean, Game 6 Clay is one thing. But Luka, man, woo, he's on terror, bro. He's been just lights out. So electric. So good. So great.
Just so good getting past that initial defender, using his body.
My vocabulary is so small already. I ran out of adjectives to describe how great Luka is. I'm just gonna let it all out, baby.
In another stratosphere right now, elevating his game and taking his team along for the ride.
And now it's a Game 7, baby.
From Footprint Center, and Dallas left its footprint all over.
See, what did I tell you guys, man? That arena name is so bad. Now, Luka Doncic, he's just been on a roll.
This was young LeBron. This game is over. Oh my goodness! Don't do that to that young man.
This has been one of the most entertaining basketball games I've ever seen. I love a great disaster, like the 7-1 Germany win.
Ernie?
Yes.
And I have one more thing to say to Chuck. The stars at night are big and bright. Deep in the heart of Texas.
You love to see it, man. Chuck, he just has to eat his words.
I'm in shock.
Yeah, everybody is.
I never, nobody saw this coming.
You guys have to understand, at halftime, this game was already over. It was a 30-point game.
Biggest halftime lead in the history of a Game 7.
Damn. Are you serious?
57-27.
Luka looked like Jordan.
35, 10, and 4.
Now there are officially no Suns fans that are watching this video, so now let's begin the crackdown.
But I talked to them about, all year long we've been hearing all the praises, winning all the games and setting records and all that stuff. And we've been, taking it. Well, tonight you got to take it. That's a part of manhood.
Jalen, Jacoby, you guys have been talking about they're the best team in the NBA.
You and I have been calling Suns the best team in basketball since about the 4th week of the regular season. The best team in basketball did not look like it last night. This is such a disappointing loss.
This did so much to set back the Suns as a respected franchise.
This is a depressing loss because you still want to bring this core group of players back.
There are a lot of things the Suns want to fix up before getting into the next season, man. There's a lot of...
Take care of DeAndre Ayton, now puts you in the luxury tax. Also, Chris Paul, since he turned 37, hasn't been the same player. 7 turnovers in the first half, 4 fouls in the first half, games scoring in single digits, having many turnovers or more turnovers than assists, being bullied by Jalen Brunson.
And Chris Paul, man, it's just embarrassing how many times he's been in this situation.
He's been a part of 5 separate situations where his team was up 2-0 and they've lost the series.
The best he could do is move on from it, and I'm glad to see that that's exactly the mindset he has.
For me, we'll be right back next year. I'll tell you that much. I'm not retiring tomorrow.
Now the fans, they didn't take it too well, man. This game was a letdown for so many of them.
All I gotta say is I need a paper bag. I'm
gonna put one over your face?
Yes, that's embarrassing. It's terrible. It's more than embarrassing. It's shocking.
Mentally, not tough enough from a mindset standpoint. This was an embarrassment, and as a 24-year season ticket holder, I dread being on social media tomorrow to hear the trash that's going to be sent towards this organization.
Well, we don't have to look too far into it. Let's just go to first take.
What went wrong for the Suns?
Everything. That's the first answers. Props to the Dallas Mavericks. I got to apologize. I didn't see this coming.
If Kawhi's not hurt, Phoenix doesn't go to the championship last year. The boy's scared of Luka. Ain't nobody afraid of anybody over there in Phoenix, man. Everybody in the league knows that, bro. Like, it's just that y'all don't know that because y'all not in the locker room. No one's afraid of Phoenix. We wanted them.
Patrick Beverley is saying an awful lot without saying much at all. I mean, come on. You would have legit lost the playing game to play them.
We wanted them. No one's afraid of Phoenix. I talked to some teammates. I ain't going to say who because I'm going to say who. Forget it. I talked to Paul George last night. Man, Pat, ain't nobody scared of them.
I'm telling you, Pat Bev, man, he was enjoying this. Obviously, him and his relationship with CP3, we all knew that at some point he was going to do something like this.
I think we're letting Devin Booker off the hook, though, because we're just focusing on Chris Paul here. I have numbers here. He's 0 for 11 from three-point the last two games when the Suns were facing elimination. What does that say to you?
What has he done before? I mean, of
Well,
course.
people were saying he could become the face of the league.
I'm saying, and I agree with that. They're gonna make him the face of the league. They gonna do that regardless because his face is perfect for it. But I'm saying,
Can't lie, man. Pat Bev was hilariously right here. I mean, he's the cover of 2K, even though he had a bad playoff season. I mean, this is just weird, honestly. I don't like that he's the cover, but it is what it is. But Ayton, man.
DA only played 17 minutes tonight, and so he didn't play most of the fourth quarter. Is there any reason why? Is he hurt or?
It's internal.
This man has officially driven me off the edge.
From what our man Lil Wayne told me, he was sitting across, and I think he either heard it or could lip read. Monty got so upset with Ayton that he said, "You frickin' quit on us." And that led to an exchange where each Monty and Ayton had to be restrained from going at each other.
Yeah. Flashback time. You remember when 2018 draft comes in, Stephen A. I mean, he's hyping up Ayton and how great he is.
DeAndre Ayton is going to be the #1 overall pick, but it's incredibly important that the Phoenix Suns don't mess this up. He's right there in Arizona. He's right down the road.
He does this and hypes him up so much that he disregards Luka.
I don't give a damn about how this kid in Europe looks. I understand he's a 6'8" point guard. He's surreal. He'll probably be the #2 overall pick.
And now if you're the Phoenix Suns, you're regretting picking a traditional center at the #1 pick.
Going into the season, DeAndre Ayton, he did not feel valued by this Phoenix organization. They were not able to come to an agreement on his rookie extension. He saw all the other players in his class, or many of the top players, get extensions. He wanted a max deal. He would not move off that.
I'll just say, man, he's not worth a max deal. He should have traded him a long time ago.
DeAndre Ayton's going to get a max contract in the marketplace somewhere. Phoenix really has to look at their sort of the allocation financially.
Now the Phoenix Suns are in a bind. DeAndre Ayton, I mean, his relationship with Monty, I'm not sure exactly how bad it is, but I'm pretty sure it's fractured in some way.
You know, the relationship with Monty Williams had been one of the real benefits. I think their ability to work together and build a relationship. It'll be interesting to see how that season ended impacts this, but it's going to be really one of these stories of this offseason because DeAndre Ayton, there are a lot of teams lining up to figure out how can we acquire him.
Why? Why would you want to acquire a quitter? Let's just call that as it is. This dude is a plain old quitter. It's horrible.
On the back of that blowout loss in Game 7, do you think they will give DeAndre Ayton the max, and do you think they should?
They should have already given it to him, and I'm pretty sure it's going to cost them more now that they didn't.
It must have been a sunny day because Shams drops a bomb, and this bomb is big. Kevin Durant requesting a trade out of Brooklyn. I mean, you got the New York Post just making fun of the guy. And I mean, how could you not? This is pathetic. And he apparently wants to be in either the Suns or the Heat. Oh, wink, wink. The #1 seeds in West and Eastern conferences.
One more thing that further complicates a Kevin Durant trade is this list of players who cannot be traded for Durant. That's because a team cannot have two players that were signed to the designated rookie extension.
So because Ben Simmons is now in net, they cannot trade Kevin Durant for Bam Adebayo straight up because, okay, Bam Adebayo and Ben Simmons cannot be on the same team. And the Suns, I mean, it's a bit complicated.
On paper, a Bridges and Ayton trade would work, but because of the hard cap, because he has base year compensation, you basically would have to find a third team for him. So I don't think there's a pathway for an Ayton-Bridges deal in Brooklyn.
And the likelihood of the Suns acquiring Kevin Durant got even slimmer as Ayton was, it seemed like, on his way out.
Restricted free agent center DeAndre Ayton has agreed to a 4-year, $133 million maximum offer sheet with the Indiana Pacers.
And so now the Phoenix Suns, they're in a place they did not want to be in. The time is ticking. They have to act real fast.
Phoenix now has 48 hours to match the largest offer sheet in NBA history.
The Suns did. After a couple of minutes, the Suns matched the offer, and so now Ayton is on a max contract, and that changes a lot of things.
It means that Ayton can't be traded. He cannot until January 15th, and he has veto power on any trade. And the Suns, they entered the luxury tax for the first time since 2009.
Honestly, the Suns, they should have never picked Ayton. They should have picked Luka Doncic, but that's besides the point. Let's not get that far into it. But they should have not have kept him. They should have traded him last season. They should have made sure that they didn't have this problem now that they're offering this guy a max contract.
How does the Ayton news affect the Kevin Durant trade market?
Well, for Phoenix, it really leaves them probably without the assets to be competitive for a Kevin Durant trade.
Oh, and did some of you see the Phoenix Suns apologizing to its fans for how badly they played in Game 7? Yikes.
When you get kicked in the lower region like that, the pain endures. That lingers.
And so we have to talk about the relationship between Ayton and Monty. That is still fractured. There still needs to be some fixing there.
And now when you match the offer sheet, you get DeAndre Ayton back. Now there's some mending that has to go on.
Bottom line is the Suns are coming into next season with a lot of friction, a lot of tension.
I just, the friction between him and Monty Williams that emerged, like, dude, there's just a lot of weird energy around that franchise, not to mention the whole Sarver situation.
Honestly, the way I would end this video is not in a conventional way. It's not in a way where I talk about what I expect from the Suns next season or, you know, what I think the Suns should do to fix things up. No. I just want to call out Ayton. I just want more people to talk about how much of a quitter this guy is. And just stop talking, stop raving about how great of a player he is. Clearly his mental is not there. People talked about Wiggins having the same mental issues. Clearly Ayton actually has those issues. We've seen it now in big playoff situations. What did Wiggins do in the playoffs the first time around? Win the championship. Ayton crumbles under defeat, quits as he's being told by his coach to play Game 7. Get that shit off my face. If there's one thing I've been told about being a man is that what a man's supposed to do is uphold his duty, uphold his obligations, do what the mentor, the elder, the tutor, the father, the coach tells you to do. He tells you to come play, you play. You're supposed to be playing. What's wrong with you that you weren't able to play? Clearly nothing physical happened. It seemed like he quit. He straight up quit. And I'm not having it. I'm done. That's it. Bye-bye.